Today will be last class on Telcut Parsons. Critique, revision, everything will be done on Parsons. And tomorrow you will have your result, first test result. Okay. Now, whosoever could not get more than 25%, okay, they may contact me anytime. Okay. See, if you have left the question, then though it's a different thing altogether. But if you, despite attempting all the questions, have not gotten enough marks, then you may contact me. Okay. If you have not got enough marks because you did not attempt, that is okay. Then though it's not your fault. Na? I mean, of course it is your fault, but it is not the fault with your writing. It is only the fault with the lack of revision. Okay. And also on Monday, we will first thing that we will do on Monday is to discuss all the questions that were there in the first test along with the model answers. Okay. So I have already prepared model answers for that, and we will discuss step by step, in the sense that model answer that I have prepared is something that will give you an idea as to what exactly you should have written and how much marks you would have expected if you had written that. Okay, so it is mark wise, content and marks, something like this. Okay, and now when you would look at those questions, you would realize that whatever you have learned after the test, okay, from Weber, Durkheim, Marx and Parsons, how those things now can be utilized. Because remember, I would not be limiting the discussion to only unit 1 and 2, because वहां तो हमको सब कुछ लिखना है. Okay, so you cannot expect me to limit my discussion to unit 1 and 2 only. Okay, I would talk about scholars as well. Okay, because I have to ensure that you prepare holistically. Okay, टेस्ट तो ठीक है चलता रहेगा, हमें तो उधर का सोचना है उस दिन के लिए. Okay, so let us start with the remaining things. Calcutta Parson पे जो भी बच गया है. Now what I am going to do today, since I understand that these things may sound very complex to you initially, okay, but I also know that this is just for time being. You will eventually get comfortable with the ideas of these people. Okay, once we start doing application part later on after this unit. Okay, so let us begin with very important theory. It's basically a revision that we are going to do. Okay, a revision that we are going to do. What you know till now is that we have a system AGIL. It is also called as AGIL schema. Okay, AGIL are 4 different needs of society. Okay, 4 different needs of society fulfilled by 4 different organs. Body has different needs fulfilled by 4 different organs. Okay, so similarly society has different needs fulfilled by different organs. Adaptive needs fulfilled by economy. Goal attainment need fulfilled by quality. Integration need fulfilled by law, religion, education. Latency need fulfilled by education, family, religion. Okay, this much you know very well, and you also know that each of these organs contribute to the maintenance of system. Economy contributes to the maintenance of society by producing and distributing goods and resources. Polity contributes to the maintenance of society by establishing goal and mobilizing resources to fulfill the goal. Simple. ठीक है? Goal, make in India is a goal. Okay. Now, if make in India is a goal, that means what? We are going to make India a manufacturing hub. Okay. If you want to make India a manufacturing hub, obviously you will have to mobilize resources. Now, what are those resources? First of all, whenever you invite any FDI, foreign investment, you will, put certain clause on that foreign investment that this much percentage of the inputs you will have to source from Indian soil. This will give employment to Indian people. It will give a push to the domestic labor and domestic economy as well. So your investment, the foreign investment will not be coming at the cost of, domestic economy. Both will be integrated with each other. Okay. So economy contributes to the maintenance of system. Polity contributes to the maintenance of system. Law contributes to the maintenance of system. Whenever any lawless situation occurs, okay, whenever any crime happens, it is the law which restores the equilibrium. Right or wrong? Okay. You have a dispute in your family. Okay, you would go to Lok Adalat for family disputes. Okay, Lok Adalat is a, court made for settlement of personal, family, domestic issues. Okay, they will resolve those issues through arbitration, mediation, and then equilibrium will be restored once again. Again, peaceful, harmonious, everything. Religion also plays integrative role. Okay. During the times of crisis, it is only the religion that brings people closer to each other. When you lose someone very close in your family, people gather and they express grief over the death of someone who was very special to the bereaved person. Okay, and it is only the gathering that would help pacify the soul of that person who lost his dear one. So it is religion which is again integrating, because we conduct rituals, we pray for his, smooth heavenly abode, wish him rest in peace. It is religion. Okay. Education, latency, all these organs are contributing one or the other way to the maintenance of system as a whole. Okay. This is what we have learned. Now the question is, biggest question, by if everything is so beautiful, rosy, सब बढ़िया चल रहा है, there is no issue as such, every conflict will be resolved. Okay, then how will you explain social change? How will social change happen if every issue is resolved? Then social change will never come. Okay, and how do you explain social change as well? Because see, the fact is, Talcott Parson is one scholar who is explaining social change also with this theory only. And how is he going to do this? I will explain. But first, quick revision of everything that we did yesterday. We know finally that these two systems, okay, are high in information. And these two high in energy. And this was cybernetic hierarchy. The question is, why did we read this cybernetic hierarchy? Okay, the answer is cybernetic hierarchy of control is telling us the relationship between these four action systems, and it is also explaining us why system is maintained the way it is. Okay, LIGA. You know, this input from economy is giving energy to the system, and output from cultural system is giving certain sort of resistance to this input, and this input output balance is maintaining the system. Okay, if there is too much of change in economy, excess energy, remember this is very important, when there is excess of energy, that means excess of change in economy, then it will create trouble. Okay, or when there is not excess but deficiency of economic energy, then again it will be trouble. For example, inflation, you know, to some extent inflation is healthy for economy. Okay, if you know this, that 3 to 4% of inflation is quite healthy for economy. Okay, there is no issue with 4% inflation. The moment inflation goes beyond 8%, 9%, 10%, then it is becoming an issue. Okay, inflation, if you know, is healthy for economy because inflation shows that, you know, we are a demand driven economy. There is a lot of demand that is taking place. Okay, consumerism is taking place, productivity is happening. This, and so inflation is to some extent a very good indicator of this purchasing power that we have, demand driven economy that we have, consumerism that we have. But too much of inflation shows lack of supply. Okay, there is some problem with the input. Okay, similarly, when there is too much of deficiency in economy, again it is a problem. Depression. Okay, so inflation is okay, hyperinflation is not okay. Okay, lack of supply is okay, can be fixed, corrected, but depression is not okay. Depression in economy is not okay. So excess of anything is not okay. This excess of anything can change the system. Okay. Now, Talcott Parson, what did he say? If you remember, I told you one more term, structural differentiation. Okay. Now everything will be connected here. What was structural differentiation? When industrial revolution happened. Okay. That was what? Excess of energy. Excess of energy. Okay. Because from cottage industry, we are moving towards a new large scale mass production. That is excess of energy. Okay. And with this, what happened? All the organs in the system, they had to undergo change. And during and before industrial revolution, what were the organs? Only two organs: extended family and church. After industrial revolution, we now have specialized organs developed. Understood? भाई ये देखो, pre-industrial revolution society. Think like this. Here, Liga. was in equilibrium. Now industrial revolution happened. What does it show? Excess of energy. Okay. This excess of energy, this excess of energy created strain. Strain. Okay. And if you remember, according to Talcott Parson, if one system feels the strain, other systems try to restore the equilibrium by fixing the issues in that organ which is feeling strain. Okay. So excess of energy because of industrial revolution led to strain, development of strain. Okay. And therefore, now in order to cope up with the industrial revolution, what happened? The organs in the society also adapted to this excess of energy, and therefore now we do not have family and church or classic extended family or church. We now have specialized organs doing those functions which were being performed by only two organs. Okay, so in the pre-industrial society we had extended family and what do you call it as religion, that is church, performing all the duties. Now here we have specialized organ, that is economy, a separate organ that is called as economy. Okay. before industrial revolution we did not have specialized organ like economic sphere. Economic sphere was embedded in family itself because the primary occupation was agriculture, that was being done by family. Okay, but today now we have specialized division economy. Okay, we have Ministry of Finance specialization. Okay, these kind of things we did not have. We have Niti Aayog, specialized division for planning in economy. These things were absent in those times when it was purely agrarian economy. Okay, done by family, extended family. So we have economy, specialized organ. We have politics, that is state, specialized organ. We did not have state as a specialized organ. State and church were together. Okay, after industrial revolution, French revolution, these organs got separated, right? State and church became different. So we now have state completely devoid of church. And now we also have separate laws which are secular laws, not religious laws. Again, specialized laws. Okay. Law for each and every specialized issue, whether it is family dispute, whether it is commercial dispute, whether it is political dispute, interlinking river dispute. Okay, for all those things we have separate law. And we also have specialized family. We had extended family, now we have nuclear family. Okay, nuclear family, specialization. Nuclear family specialized only in one domain, that is primary socialization. Okay, and one more which I'll explain when I'll teach you, family and kinship. Okay. And we have specialized form of religions also. Today we have specialized form of religions. Okay, catering to specific set of crowd. Okay, if you are hip hopper type, cool person, okay, and you want to attain spirituality, okay, English speaking, middle class person, then we have Sadhguru for you. Okay, or something like this. Or if you are or hip hopper type, then we had this person, दाढ़ी वाला, उसका नाम भूल गया, जेल चले गया वो, ठीक है. Or if you are a lady which is very docile, who does not have family, or who is not happy with her family after marriage, he is not happy with the institution of marriage, we have Brahma Kumaris for you. Okay. So we have specialized form of religions. If you are thinking about attaining salvation, or if you are thinking every day about other world, or if you are thinking about death every day, what will happen to me when I die? Okay. Where was I before I took birth on earth? Then we again have specialized religion for this. Okay, we call those religions as UFO religions. They are UFO religions. I'll tell you, one of them is realism. Have you seen that movie, Insidious? इंसीडियस मूवी देखी है किसी ने? हाँ, इंसीडियस. इंसीडियस में no, that person used to go in other world with the help of machines. Okay, so that is called as scientific religion. Okay, scientific religion. So we have specialized form of religions today. Okay. Similarly, we have specialized form of education. Higher education. In higher education, we also have different sorts of education. Skilled, okay, computer skill, software skill, hardware skill, graphics, okay. Learn English in 10 days. Okay. Specialized form of education for everything. Music, you can learn. म्यूजिक के लिए एक अलग डिपार्टमेंट, अलग कोचिंग इंस्टीट्यूशंस है म्यूजिक. इफ यू वांट टू लर्न टू प्ले गिटार, स्पेशल कोचिंग फॉर दैट. ओके, यू वांट टू लर्न टू प्ले तबला, स्पेशल कोचिंग. यू वांट टू लर्न कंटेम्पररी डांस, स्पेशल कोचिंग. ओके, so specialized form of education. So this happened because of industrial revolution. This excess of energy created strain, and how did societies cope up with the strain? By specialization of organs. And specialization of organs explain adaptive capacity. That shows that organs had adaptive capacity to this large scale change. The more adaptive capacity you have, the more you can easily cope up with the drastic change. If you are healthy, चाहे कोरोना 1000 लोग को हो जाए, आपको कुछ नहीं होएगा. ठीक है, क्योंकि आपकी अडेप्टिव कैपेसिटी बड़ी अच्छी है, इम्यूनिटी आपकी स्ट्रांग है. ठीक है, अगर हो भी गया फटाफट रिकवर कर लोगे. ठीक है, ज्यादा रोगे नहीं, परेशान नहीं होगे. ठीक है, and this shows that this person has good immunity level. Similarly, if society is able to cope up with this large scale social changes, that shows that society has very good adaptive capacity, very good immunity level. Understood? Okay, understood or not? ठीक है, चलो. Now I'll explain these things through a diagram that I have made. Okay, I thought I should make one diagram for you guys to make Talcott Parson easier. Okay, because sometimes, you know, what visuals I am having in my mind, those visuals you may not be sharing. Okay, so इसलिए I thought I should make one diagram. Is this visible to you? ठीक है, चलो अब देखो. सबसे पहले मेरे साथ साथ ये बनाओ, फिर मैं एक्सप्लेन करते जाता हूँ साथ साथ, खत्म हो जाएगा टॉपिक. The heading is Parsons theory of social change. You can also write it as functional theory of social change. Okay, Parsons theory of social change or functional theory of social change, both way it will help you in this unit also and also in later units. फर्स्ट मेक ओनली दिस, पहले सिर्फ इतना बनाओ. Parsons' theory of social change is built into his theory of cybernetic hierarchy of control. This diagram will help you to assimilate all the information that you have gathered. Parsons' theory of social change is built into his theory of cybernetic hierarchy of control. Okay? ठीक है. Any issue with this statement? Cybernetic hierarchy of control can explain social change. How? Excess of energy or deficiency of energy can explain social change. Okay, industrial revolution is nothing but excess of energy. French revolution, excess of energy. Revolutions are nothing but excesses of everything. Because till now, till revolution, everything was in stable mode. Okay, revolutions happened, excess of energy. Think like this. Okay, okay. Now next. Make this excess of energy or information or insufficient supply of energy or information causes strain in the system. ये बनाओ. Excess of energy or information or insufficient supply of energy or information causes strain in the system. Fine. Any issue with this box? कोई इशू नहीं है. ठीक है. अब सवाल उठता है. The question is, we know that excess of energy or deficiency of energy leads to strain in the system. Okay, but what exactly leads to excess of energy or deficiency of energy? ये अभी मैं बताऊंगा तुम्हें. अभी तक एक्सेस ऑफ एनर्जी के नाम पे मैंने क्या बोला? इंडस्ट्रियल रेवोल्यूशन, फ्रेंच रेवोल्यूशन, एग्जांपल्स आई गिव. Now I'll tell you something theoretical. What exactly leads to excess of energy? This we should know, because we should know how the strain is developing. Strain is developing because of excess of energy. Acha, but how is excess of energy happening? Because of this thing. First, changes in the demographic character. You can write like this: factors causing strain in the system. Okay. First is change in the demographic character. This leads to strain. Okay. Now I'll explain. First, अभी उतना ही लिखो, changes in the demographic character of population. Okay. Now see. Suppose when you see population explosion, or when you see sudden wave of migration from one pocket to another pocket, or when you see exodus, mass migration, or when you see refugee crisis, okay, when you see these kind of changes, what are these changes? These are changes in the demographic character of population, right? When you see infant mortality rate rising like anything, बच्चे की जान ली जा रही है, मारा जा रहा है उनको, क्योंकि लड़की हो रही है, लड़का नहीं हो रहा, लड़की को मारते जा रहे हैं, इन्फेंट मोर्टेलिटी रेट बढ़ते जा रहा है, ओके। So this is also change in the demographic character, okay. So whenever you see changes in the demographic character that is in excess or at very great level, this leads to strain. High infant mortality rate is fine. Is fine. I'm not saying it is good. Okay. At certain level it is fine. But beyond certain level it is not fine. Beyond certain level, then it is no longer personal trouble. It is a public issue now. Okay. So changes in demographic character of population through migration, racial intermixture, that is intermarriages, as well as changes in the mortality and fertility rates of the population. This will lead to development of strain in the system. Okay. What is the next thing that can cause strain? Changes in the physical environment, such as exhaustion of physical resources, soil, water, weather condition, may also contribute to strain and change in the social system. Changes in the physical environment such as exhaustion of physical resources, soil, water, weather conditions may also contribute to strain and change in the social system. Okay, see, for example, let me talk about Punjab and Haryana. You know, Punjab and Haryana at one point of time faced food shortage. Okay? Food shortage, which was, you know, sorted out with the help of Green Revolution. पता है कि नहीं ये चीज? Do you know this thing or not? Green Revolution, you know na? हाँ. So what was the function of Green Revolution? To help Punjab, Haryana cope up with the food shortage. यही तो एक objective था. So food shortage explains what? Food shortage is the result of what? Exhaustion of physical resources, physical environment, bad health, saline soil, groundwater shortage, excess of irrigation, excess of fertilizers, okay, famine. All these things actually explain how food shortage happened. And then Green Revolution came. Okay, high yielding variety seeds. But, you know, whenever there is change in the physical environment, it also leads to development of strain in the social system. But Green Revolution has also its negative repercussions. हाँ, negative ही तो बता रहा हूँ मैं तो negative ही बता रहा हूँ. Strain का मतलब क्या है कि negative, ठीक है? Physical environment में changes जब हुए, what exactly happened? Most of the female laborers, female child, whatsoever was considered burden on the families, they were executed like anything. Okay, female child infant mortality rate was rising at that point of time because people were not able to feed themselves. Okay, and this also explained, and also most of the people who had come to Punjab from different pockets, they were not given proper wage. They were exploited like anything because food resources were not produced at a level that was sufficient for them to sustain themselves. So that is why they were not able to give enough wage even to those people who were wage laborers on the agricultural soil. Okay, right? Yes. And fundamentalism also emerged because of these things. Khalsa movement, separation, and the very idea of, in fact, separation of Punjab from Haryana, regional divide, demand for separate state is also very much a result of Green Revolution and also one of the consequence of the kind of problems that were being faced by Punjab and Haryana before that. Okay, it was all about Satluj Canal. Okay, the dispute over water sharing. These things actually led to development of strain. Okay, and the strain that Punjab Haryana faced during those times was minimized to some extent by Green Revolution. Okay. Third, changes in population resulting from increased productivity of food and availability of resources for members within a social system. This can also create strain. Okay. Changes in population resulting from increased productivity of food. पहले तो efficiency of food से strain develop हुआ, अब increased productivity of food से भी strain develop हो सकता है, and availability of resources for members within a social system. When you have increased productivity of food, what will happen? Population will rise. You will have migration from one pocket to another pocket happening at rapid pace. This will create load on the land. Okay, and this may in fact lead to conflict between two different communities. One community that is indigenous community, second community that is regarded as aliens. It will spur son of the soil movement. It will spur secessionist movement. Okay, हमें अलग कर दो यहां से, हम यहाँ के हैं ही नहीं. ओके, ये हमारा एरिया है, तुम लोग बाहर के हो. ओके, तो अगेन strain developed. What can be other reason for the strain? Fourth reason, changes in technology and application of scientific knowledge for the advancement of society. This can also develop strain. Okay. Changes in technology and application of scientific knowledge for the advancement of society. How can change in technology develop strain? ये देखते हैं कौन बोलता है. हाँ हाँ, बहुत सही. अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट तो ठीक है, अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट इज ओके, वो तो पता है. कुछ और बताओ. हाँ हाँ, बहुत सही. नाइस 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 नाइस. डिजिटल डिवाइड. ओके, inequality because of digital divide. Development of nuclear weapons is also the result of technology. The very idea of first world, second world, third world, this division, this global division of country is the result of scientific development only. आज हम थर्ड वर्ल्ड इसलिए हैं क्योंकि वो फर्स्ट वर्ल्ड हैं. वो फर्स्ट वर्ल्ड क्यों हैं? बिकॉज दे हैव एडवांस्ड इन साइंटिफिक टेक्नोलॉजिकल डेवलपमेंट, बट वी कुड नॉट. So this division of inequality, global inequalities, is the result of scientific technology only. And what is the consequence of global inequality? We, the third world people, will always be dependent on the first world. Okay. कभी डिफेंस इक्विपमेंट्स के लिए इजराइल से मांगते रहेंगे, एग्रीकल्चर का सामान भी उनसे लेते हैं. ठीक है, तब अब जाके मेक इन इंडिया की हम बात करें, नहीं बहुत हुआ. नो मोर डिपेंडेंसी, नाउ वी शुड हैव लोकल, वोकल फॉर लोकल. ओके, अब ये बात चल रही है. तो साइंस और टेक्नोलॉजी कैन ऑल्सो लीड टू स्ट्रेन. It is only because of technology that sex determination tests are happening. The women or the child, women child, okay, the fetus, in fact, I would say feticide, जिसको हम बोलते हैं, that happens only because of sex determination test. Okay. And then, of course, artificial intelligence. If we are thinking about artificial intelligence, we should also be ready for a large scale unemployment as well. But the fact is, see, nobody really knows whether artificial intelligence is going to create unemployment or it will going to create more employment. You will see many reports coming from different divisions, different scientific institutions talking about rise in employment with artificial intelligence, and some you will see decline in employment with artificial intelligence. Okay, now you cannot say this one is right or that one is right. Okay, these are scientific studies. Okay, these are scientific studies, positivist studies. Okay, conducted by social scientists talking about the future of society. Okay, artificial intelligence will lead to rise in unemployment. A positivist study है कि नहीं? ठीक है. Second will say no, it will give more employment opportunities. Deloitte एक organization है, Deloitte बोलता है वो employment और बढ़ेगा. कुछ sectors की बात कर रहे हैं वो. Okay, but you know उन sectors वो हैं sectors, those sectors are not so much developed in the underdeveloped countries or developing world. Those sectors are developed in the advanced countries only. Okay, for example, in India we do not have formal sector as huge as the informal sector we have, but in the developed country they have formal sector as huge as we have informal. So to those people artificial intelligence may help. Okay, but to the people in the informal sector, that we have so many people in informal sector, artificial intelligence may turn out to be biggest source of unemployment to those people, because informal sector runs on cheap labor, unsecured labor. Okay, a labor that cannot go to what do you call it as grievance. Workers in the informal sector do not even have the ability to form trade unions. You talk about Uber. Okay, the research that we guys conducted on Uber 3-4 years back, okay, we got to know that Uber people or Swiggy people, they do not have trade unions. Okay, it is why they do not have trade unions. I'll tell you why they do not have trade unions. A very great concept used by scholar Michael Boroway, which I'll explain when I'll teach you work and economy. Okay, how these people are engaged in achieving their individual target every day. Each worker is assigned individual target. Okay, and after completion of that target they get bonus. So you will see that work has been turned into game for them. When you play a game, you have to cross levels and then you get bonus. So when you turn the work into game, you would not feel exploited, you would feel fun. So after dropping one person, you would now have already another person waiting for you to pick him up. Okay, you will get a signal for that and you already know where he's going to go. Okay, and you have to cross that level, and then you already know how much bonus you are going to get after completion of this side. So when work becomes game, okay, the concept or the idea of trade union is minimized. Okay, so I'll talk about those things after some point of time. Yes. Okay, now next, development of new culture configuration also creates strain. development of new culture configuration also creates strain, such as new religious ideas or integration of religious values with science and technology might also trigger changes in the social system. Development of new cultural configurations such as new religious ideas or integration of religious values with science. Okay, this factor may also develop strain. When you have new cultural configuration, remember when we had, for example, when we had Catholic Church, suddenly you saw Martin Luther challenging it with new religious values. It developed strain within the Catholic system. They called them heretic. They excommunicated him. When Isaac Newton, Galileo Galilei, Copernicus, Kepler, when they came up with their own discoveries, inventions which were against religious ideas, again they were declared heretic. Okay, so when science develops by countering religion, or when new religion develops, new religious values develop by countering the existing religion, these things create strain. When Martin Luther challenged Catholic Church, something, I don't know if you have read this in world history or not, Martin Luther gave lot of motivation to the German peasants at that point of time, because peasants were looted by warriors, knights in command by the priest or by the nobilities. Peasants were looted like anything. One day they are giving, if you remember, I told you this about this concept, tithe. Okay, that is 10% of their agricultural produce they had to give to those people. Next day they said, now today you have to give 20%. And that was also justified on the basis of religion. It is written in the Bible that once you have fulfilled your one duty of paying us 10% regularly, now you have to advance to the next level, only then you would be going to heaven. Okay, so you now today have to give us 20%. And all these exploitation, the agriculture produce that they were producing, every day 10, 20, and then 30, 40, this much of produce was usurped or appropriated by the nobilities in the name of religion. And when Martin Luther translated Bible into English, peasants got to know ऐसा कुछ लिखा ही नहीं बाइबल में, तो peasants को गुस्सा आ गया, उन्होंने मार दिया. एग्जीक्यूशन, मास एग्जीक्यूशन हुआ था जर्मनी में उस टाइम. ठीक है, नोबिलिटी वर्सेस पेजेंट्स, जिसको पेजेंट रिवोल्ट बोलते हैं हम इंडिया में. ओके, सो दिस आल्सो डेवलप्ड स्ट्रेन. These kind of things develop strain in the system. Revolts happening because of change in the cultural configuration. When Buddha challenged Hinduism, revolt. Many Brahminical priests challenged Lord Buddha. Okay, defamed Lord Buddha. So whenever new religious values develop, you again see strain developing in the system. It may lead to protest, execution, mass movement. Okay. So these are the factors that cause strain in the system. And strain in the system means excess of energy or information, or insufficient supply of energy or information. Got it? Sir, so according to Parson, change can be initiated by both economy and superstructure. That is, yes, definitely, Ashwini. Change can be initiated by strain, and strain can happen because of both excess of energy or information as well, or insufficient supply of energy or information. तो चाहे कल्चर हो, इकोनॉमी हो, कहीं से भी चेंज आ सकता है, सीधी सी बात है। अब लॉर्ड बुद्धा ने जो चैलेंज किया दैट वाज कल्चरल चेंज, न्यू रिलीजियस वैल्यूज डेवलपिंग, चेंज तो आया, सोशल चेंज है वो भी। ओके, नाउ नेक्स्ट, दिस इज इंपॉर्टेंट। अब क्या होएगा, स्ट्रेन से क्या होएगा? द स्ट्रेन लीड्स टू दीज 4 पॉइंट्स, इसको रट्टा मार लो, ये 4 पॉइंट्स को, ये आपको लिखने ही लिखने हैं कीवर्ड्स, इसलिए मैंने अलग से ये डायग्राम बना के बता दिया ताकि आपको कुछ याद रहे ना रहे, आपको ये लिखना है, आपको शो ऑफ करना है एग्जामिनर को। ओके, द स्ट्रेन लीड्स टू स्ट्रक्चरल डिफरेंशिएशन, ये मैंने बता दिया है, कल ही बताया। द स्ट्रेन लीड्स टू स्ट्रक्चरल डिफरेंशिएशन, सेकंड इंटीग्रेशन बताता हूं मैं, थर्ड अडेप्टिव अपग्रेडेशन, ये भी बताता हूं, फोर्थ जनरलाइजेशन ऑफ वैल्यूज बताता हूं, ये भी। नहीं, एवोल्यूशनरी ही तो है, ये सब एवोल्यूशनरी है, इवॉल्व हो रहा है ये, रेवोल्यूशनरी कुछ भी नहीं है इसके अंदर, कुछ भी रेवोल्यूशनरी नहीं है। मैं बताऊंगा रेवोल्यूशन का मीनिंग क्या है। देखो, रेवोल्यूशन एक आइडियल टाइप है, इसको ध्यान रखो। जब हम बोलते हैं रेवोल्यूशन, क्या है रेवोल्यूशन, बताता हूं मैं अभी, ठीक है। The strain leads to structural differentiation, integration, adaptive upgradation, generalization of values. Structural differentiation, you know, when strain develops, the organs, in order to cope up with the strain, may get specialized, may lose out some of their previous functions to some specialized organs. This is how society cope up with the strain. For example, how did India as a system, social system, coped up with corona? कैसे किया? We came up with specialized institutions dealing with coronavirus. Okay. We started funding those institutions to develop vaccine as soon as possible. We came up with quarantine centers, COVID care centers. Okay. Hotels were transformed into hospitals. Schools were transformed into hospitals. Railway stations were transformed into hospitals. So hospital is not hospital. Railway station may look like railway station, but it is also hospital. Okay. Hotel may look like hotel, but it is hospital inside. So nothing is objective reality. Time and space always change the seemingly objective reality. Okay. So this was adaptive process that India had to undergo. We adapted with coronavirus by transforming hospitals into hotels, railway coaches into hospital beds. We increased the number of hospital beds. We institutionalized new hospitals. And now we also gave honorarium to the medical warriors. Okay. We increased the wage of ASHA workers, auxiliary nurse midwives, ANMs. Okay. All these changes happened. Adaptive capacity. Okay. Structural differentiation. Adaptive upgradation was this only, जो मैंने अभी बताया. Understood? Okay. Adaptive upgradation, जो मैंने बताया, that was adaptive upgradation. Structural differentiation means specialized institutions coming in that were not there before before corona had struck the nation. We did not have those institutions. Those institutions developed specially to counter coronavirus, or those special cells got developed within those institutions to counter any such kind of strain in the future. Okay. Integration. See, the fact is when you had classic extended family before industrial revolution, when industrial revolution happened, classic extended family had lost many functions to other specialized organs. Okay. For example, elderly care institutions, elderly care centers. Okay. Schools, or preschool or kindergarten, play school. Okay. Or crèche. Crèche, you know, I hope. Crèche centers developed. Okay. Specialized institutions. And then we also developed things like, you know, dating apps. पहले क्या होता था? You know, marriage used to take place largely because of the contacts within the family. एक फैमिली अपने साथ वाले पड़ोसियों को उनसे जानते थे बचपन में, उन्हीं के बेटी या बेटे से बात कर ली, ठीक है, साथ बड़े हुए, या फिर उनके सर्कल में जो होते थे उनसे बात हो गई, कर लिया. बट टुडे वी हैव स्पेशलाइज्ड इंस्टीट्यूशंस for the people who are looking for partners. Matrimonial.com, Shadi.com, dating apps. Okay. पहले what was the nature of game in the name of sports, game, entertainment? What was the thing that we were doing before industrial revolution? Games क्या होती थी? वही खेत में खेलते थे, वो बंटे कंचे, क्योंकि वहीं काम करना होता है, वहीं खेलते थे. गेम हमारी वही होती थी, फैमिली मेंबर्स के साथ ही खेलते थे, लंगड़ी टांग, ठीक है, वहीं खेत में छुपन छुपाई खेलते थे, बड़े बड़े वो झाड़े होते थे, वहीं छुप जाते थे, ठीक है. टुडे वी हैव कैंडी क्रश, स्पेशलाइज्ड गेम फॉर these things. Okay. Pokemon Go, okay, PlayStation. Okay. Specialized things developing for each and every domain. Okay. So the question is, earlier we had everything in one system and integration was therefore easy. Today we have specialized institutions. अब integration कैसे होएगा? How would we have now integration? अरे इसलिए तो integration होएगा क्योंकि specialized है. भूल गए क्या डरखाइम? डरखाइम क्या बोलता था? Specialization of the labor will lead to integration between them. And Talcott Parson क्या कर रहा है? He is not looking into specialization of labor. He is talking about specialization of organs. And specialized organs will automatically lead to integration between them because it will establish interdependency between them. Since they are specialized in one domain, it will automatically generate interdependency. Right? Organic solidarity type. हाँ वैसे समझ लो, बस वो टर्म यहाँ यूज मत करना. देखो बात सीधी सी है. Talcott Parson has integrated all the scholars that he read in his life. Adam Smith को भी उसने डाला है यहाँ पर. If you remember Adam Smith division of labor, what is the function of division of labor? Productivity. Okay. Specialization leading to productivity. Wealth of nation. According to Durkheim, the function of specialization is integration. And Talcott Parson is saying the function of specialization is both integration and productivity. That means the more specialized institutions you have, the more developed country you are. Remember this. Talcott Parson is American. And जब भी वो ये सब लिख रहा है उसके दिमाग में अमेरिकन सोसाइटी है. The more specialized institutions you have to tackle specialized kind of strain coming from specialized kind of factor, the more advanced you are, the more adaptive upgradation capacity you have, the more integration you would have across those specialized institutions. Okay, understood or not? Okay, now remember, if I ask this question to Talcott Parson, which country in the world is most developed? Okay, if I ask very simple question, Talcott Parson will say America. Now, he will not say, I am saying America because I am American. He will say, I am saying America is the most developed social system, not even country, most developed social system, because America has highest adaptive capacity. In the sense, America has adapted to all the extreme changes in no time. It came up with specialized institutions to tackle with those changes in no time. फटाफट कोरोना आया, बर्बाद किया अमेरिका को. अब देख लो, सब बिना मास्क के घूमते हैं वहां पे. खत्म कर दिया कोरोना बिना मास्क. अब जिसने मास्क पहना उसका 2000 रुपए चलाना है वहां पर. ठीक है, बिना मास्क के वहां घूमना, वहां रूल लग गया. किसी ने मास्क लगाया 10,000 रुपए. इतना कॉन्फिडेंस है उनको अपने सिस्टम्स पे. इंस्टीट्यूशनलाइज, एकदम स्पेशलाइज्ड फॉर्म ऑफ ट्रीटमेंट, हर चीज का इलाज. They were the first country in the world to come up with vaccine. Don't forget this. Okay. सबसे पहली कंट्री वही थी इस दुनिया में जिसने कोरोना के लिए वैक्सीन डेवलप की. ओके, मॉडर्ना. And this shows highest adaptive capacity. It can cope up with the strain, चाहे कोविड स्ट्रेन हो या सोशल स्ट्रेन हो, टेक्नोलॉजिकल स्ट्रेन हो, whatever strain it may be. Okay. Now the next thing is generalization of values. What is generalization of values? See, to have integration between these organs, okay, plus state, okay, whatsoever organs we have, howsoever organs we may be having, okay, for each and every department, police, specialized police, army, okay. In order to have proper integration between all these organs, we need to ensure that members of society share certain values. Okay, for example, suppose you have done BTech. Okay, now you are engineer. Okay, the fact is, engineer is specialized in one task, policeman is specialized in another task. Okay, but how would they be integrated with each other? Only because engineer is not specialized in the task in which policeman is specialized, and only because policeman is not specialized in the task in which engineer is specialized. This will create integration between them. But for that, we need to have generalization of values. That means we need to accept, or we need to have this sort of education, okay, or we need to have a shared consensus over interdependency between us. Okay, in the sense, for example, अगर मेरे घर पे चोरी हो गई, okay, तो मुझे ये पता होना चाहिए कि पुलिस को बुलाना चाहिए, तभी तो फिर पुलिस आएगी, मेरी हेल्प करेगी. ठीक है, अगर मैं मानता ही नहीं पुलिस वाले सिस्टम में, आई डोंट बिलीव इन पुलिस, आर्मी, ऑल दीज सिस्टम्स, this is nonsense. These are those people who are not going to support me because I'm poor. These will only support that rich man. Okay, or suppose you are a rickshaw puller, okay, और आपका एक्सीडेंट हो गया है मर्सिडीज वाले के साथ, okay, You would not be calling police wala because you think that no, police wala will be supporting Mercedes wala. Why should I call him? Okay, Mercedes wala बुलाएगा और उसको रिक्शा पुलर को ही मारेगा. Okay, so in order to have proper integration, both the parties need to share certain values that yes, we are living in democracy and we are given equal opportunity, and these specialized organs will help both of us and will help resolve the dispute amicably. We need to have shared consensus over these things. Okay. If you do not have those values, then it will create problem, and that is why Talcott Parsons says generalization of values is very important. That means, as American, all the people should believe in American democratic values. If you are left-winger, Marxist, you have no space in America. Okay. As American, you need to worship Americanism, democracy, the great democracy, the oldest democracy. And if we have capitalism, you have to support it. Okay, there is no harm in it as long as it is productive, as long as it is giving employment to everyone, as long as it is giving us material satisfaction and all the happiness. But sir, integration will only happen if there is consensus. वही तो मैंने बोला, अभी यही तो बोला मैंने. प्रतिभा, अभी मैंने क्या बोला? In USA movies, whatever happens, call 911. Yes, right. Okay. Suppose I'm Naxal. Okay. Army man shot one of my friend who was also Naxal. What will I do? Will I call police? Will I call police? I will not call police, bhai.